Good evening. You're watching the news tonight, your daily roundup of all that has happened across India and the world. I'm Ishan Russell, and these are the headlines that we're tracking this evening. Prime Minister Modi wraps up the five-nation tour with a successful last stop in Mexico, secures the country's backing for India's NSG membership bid. Buoyed by India's success in securing backing, Pakistan now steps up diplomatic efforts to gather support for its inclusion to the NSG. Union ministers spar over the culling of animals in states. Women and Child Development Minister Maneka Gandhi accuses Environment Ministry of having a lust for killing. And Israel retaliates to Palestinian attack in Tel Aviv, clamps down on Palestinian movements and boosts security. Entry permits for 83,000 Palestinians suspended. Our top story this evening: after wrapping up a successful five-nation tour, Prime Minister Narendra Modi left for India today from Mexico. In the final leg, Modi held wide-ranging talks with the Mexican leadership and secured support from the country on the NSG. The Mexican support comes before an energy plenary meeting in Seoul on the 20th of June, where India's application for membership is expected to be taken up.
Mexico announced its support to India's bid for membership of the elite nuclear suppliers group after wide-ranging talks between President Enrique Pena Nieto and Prime Minister Narendra Modi. With this, the Prime Minister has secured the backing of two key NSG members, including Switzerland, for India's bid to secure membership of the 48-nation club that controls trade in advanced nuclear technologies. NSG membership will give India access to technology that will help it in a variety of areas, ranging from medicine to building nuclear plants. This also represents a historic policy shift for Mexico, which has held a firm position on nuclear disarmament and non-proliferation for decades.
Celebramos la adhesión que India ha hecho al Acuerdo de París, precisamente sobre cambio climático, y por otro lado, y no por ello menos importante, México reconoce el interés de la India de incorporarse al grupo de suministradores nucleares.
I thank President Peña Nieto for his positive and constructive support for India's membership of the Nuclear Suppliers Group. Excellency, I see in you a reformer and believer in the destiny of this great country. I too am focused on reforming India's economic and governance structures. This is one area where our sharing of best practices can benefit both our societies.
Both nations also signed a 10-year bilateral investment promotion deal to promote economic ties. Mexico also extended support to India's International Solar Alliance initiative, which was launched at the Paris climate talks last year. Global issues were a major focus in the brief 5-hour working visit. In a special gesture, the Mexican president drove Prime Minister Narendra Modi to a restaurant for a vegetarian Mexican dinner. This was the first prime ministerial visit from India to Mexico after former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh's visit in 2012 for the G20 summit. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Meanwhile, Pakistan has asked NSG member states to be objective and non-discriminatory while deciding on expanding the grouping's membership. Islamabad has also stepped up diplomatic efforts to raise support for its inclusion in the elite 48-nation bloc. Pakistan held a briefing session for the NSG countries' diplomatic missions ahead of the group's plenary session in Vienna. The briefing is said to be part of its ongoing diplomatic efforts for mobilizing support for membership of the group. Pakistan also cautioned the NSG countries against making any country-specific exemptions which would negatively impact strategic stability in South Asia. The meeting seems to be a part of Pakistan's efforts to stop India gaining membership of the group. China has reportedly assured Pakistan that it would not support India's membership until Pakistan was also given the same treatment. Pakistan had formally applied for the NSG membership last month. A special trial court in Ahmedabad deferred the quantum of sentence in the Gulbarg Society massacre to Friday. 14 years after the riots, the court convicted 22 of the 66 accused on the 6th of June. The court adjudged 11 guilty of murder and 13 guilty of lesser crimes. Defense lawyers in the case have demanded minimum punishment for the convicts, arguing that the witnesses in the case have not been able to recognize them. Meanwhile, the prosecution has argued for life imprisonment, if not capital punishment, for all accused, calling it a rarest of the rare case. It also argued for equal punishment for all the 24 accused, as it was a case of mass murder. 69 people were killed in Gulbarg Society, including former Congress MP Ehsan Jafri, during the 2002 Gujarat riots. The two union ministers, Maneka Gandhi and Prakash Javadekar, on Thursday locked horns over culling of animals over reports of the killing of 200 nilgai and a wild boar in Bihar recently. Union Minister for Women and Child Development, Maneka Gandhi, slammed the Environment Ministry, saying it had a lust for killing animals, even as Environment Minister Prakash Javadekar defended the action.
Two union ministers are at loggerheads over the culling of nilgais. Union Women and Child Development Minister Maneka Gandhi raised a storm when she accused the Environment Ministry of harboring a lust for killing animals. Gandhi blames Environment Minister Prakash Javadekar for giving permission to kill the endangered animals, calling the culling a massacre. Javadekar, however, was quick to counter the allegations, saying it was done on the request of states to prevent crop damage.
Environment Ministry यहाँ हर स्टेट को लिख रही है कि आप बताओ किसको मारना है, हम इजाजत दे देंगे। बंगाल में उन्होंने कह दिया कि हाथी को मारो, हिमाचल में उन्होंने कह दिया कि बंदर को मारो, गोवा में कह दिया मोर को मारो। हालांकि उनके अपने वाइल्ड लाइफ डिपार्टमेंट ने कहा कि हम नहीं मारना चाहते हैं, आप हमको हमारे पीछे मत पड़िए करने के लिए। पता नहीं क्या हवस सी आ गई है मारने की।
कानून के आधार पर जब किसानों को बहुत तकलीफ होती है, उनके फसल का पूरा नाश होता है, तो अगर राज्य सरकार प्रस्ताव भेजती है तो ही हम किसी विशेष भाग के लिए और किसी विशेष काल के लिए ही एक साइंटिफिक मैनेजमेंट के लिए वो राज्य सरकार के प्रस्ताव को मंजूरी देती है। ये केंद्र सरकार का कार्यक्रम नहीं है।
The Environment Ministry's move has drawn flag from animal rights groups as well.
Instead of ordering to kill these animals, the ministry should have done a proper survey and census and should have worked on rehabilitating these animals into the wild rather than just ordering them to be killed.
हमारा वाइल्ड लाइफ प्रोटेक्शन है, तो फिर ऐसे मंत्रालय की जरूरत ही नहीं है और ना ही ऐसे मंत्री की जरूरत है। मॉरल ग्राउंड्स पर मिस्टर प्रकाश जावड़ेकर शुड रिजाइन। ये शर्मनाक हरकत है।
Meneka's objection comes after the Environment Ministry allowed the culling of nilgai, wild boars, elephants, peacock and monkeys in different states. The demand to kill these animals was accepted on account of the damage they were causing to crops, property and life. The ministry's memorandum passed in December 2015 states that wild animals which destroy crops should be treated as vermin. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
The Bombay High Court has asked the Censor Board to explain why it is insisting on the deletion of Punjab, the word, from the film Urta Punjab. High Court is hearing a petition filed by Phantom Films, which was one of the producers of Urta Punjab. The petition is against the CBFC's refusal to grant the film an A certificate before its scheduled 17 June release, unless the team agrees to make certain cuts. The court said it was not satisfied with the suggestions made by the Censor Board about removing references to places in Punjab. Bombay High Court also asked the Censor Board how the film could delete words like MP, MLA and election. Meanwhile, the CBFC argued that the suggestions made by the revising committee were not arbitrary and the committee had applied its mind in it. The hearing has now been adjourned for Friday.
It's a well-made film. It also, focuses on a very important problem because it's a problem that affects a lot of our young people because, the proliferation of drugs among young people is a fairly serious problem. It brings our notice to that.
Between the producer and the Censor Board. And it is for the Censor Board to decide. Government cannot issue directions to Censor Board. They know their duty and they are doing their duty. Let them decide first.
Now, India's daily death toll due to road accidents touched alarming levels in 2015. Drivers' fault was the biggest factor. Transport Minister Nitin Gadkari on Thursday said the government will bring the road safety bill in the next session of Parliament to arrest the number of fatalities in road accidents.
Indian roads, which account for the highest fatalities in the world, became more dangerous in 2015. The number of road accidents increased by 2.5% from 4,89,000 in 2014 to 5 lakh in 2015. Around 1,374 accidents and 400 deaths occur every day on Indian roads, which translates into 57 accidents and 17 lives every hour. About 54.1% of all persons killed in road accidents were in the age bracket of 15 to 34 years. The number was highest in Tamil Nadu.
हमारे जो मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट हैं उनकी अध्यक्षता में भी ये एक्सीडेंट कैसे हम रोक सकते हैं इसके लिए कमेटी बनाएंगे। इसमें कलेक्टर होगा, एसपी होगा, ट्रैफिक के लोग होंगे, एनजीओज होंगे, सोशल वर्कर होंगे और हम लोग कुछ पब्लिक रिप्रेजेंटेटिव होंगे और उस हर महीने में 2 महीने में जितने एक्सीडेंट्स हुए वो स्पॉट पर आवश्यकता होगी तो जाएंगे।
Union Minister Nitin Gadkari has expressed hope that the road safety bill will cross all hurdles and get cleared in the monsoon session of Parliament. Gadkari said once the law is enacted, it would overhaul the sector by bringing transparency and curbing malpractices.
हमने सुझाया है कि कंप्यूटर परीक्षा लेगा और ऐसे 20 सेंटर हमने खोल दिए ऑलरेडी। पूना में है, कलकत्ता में है, राजस्थान में है कि वो ट्रक वाला पूरा वहाँ ग्राउंड में जाके पूरा चलाएगा और कंप्यूटर उसके परीक्षा लेगा और पास या फेल डिक्लेयर करेगा।
The new road transport and safety bill seeks to come down heavily on traffic offenders and proposes steep penalties of up to 3 lakh along with a minimum 7-year imprisonment for death of a child in certain circumstances, besides huge fines for driving violations. Kriti Mishra, Rajya Sabha TV.
All the other national news updates now nationwide. The Central Bureau of Investigation today questioned Himachal Pradesh Chief Minister Veerbhadra Singh in connection with the disproportionate assets case. The CBI had initiated an inquiry against Singh into assets accumulated during 2009 to 2012 when he was a union minister. Veerbhadra Singh has assets worth over 600 crore rupees in his name and in the name of his family members, which were found to be disproportionate to his known sources of income. A scuffle broke out between councillors of the Aam Aadmi Party and the BJP during the joint session of the Municipal Corporation of Delhi. The BJP members objected to AAP member Pooja Pandit wearing the party cap at the meet. The BJP refuted the allegations and claimed that AAP councillors had misbehaved. The CBI has formed special teams to investigate the Augusta Westland and the Vijay Mallya cases. The team will help fast-track the investigation. The team will be headed by Additional Director General Rakesh Asthana, an officer said to be handpicked by the team of Prime Minister Modi, and it will report to the director of the agency. Major General Per Gustav Lodin of the Swedish military will be the new head of the United Nations mission tasked with monitoring the ceasefire between India and Pakistan in Jammu and Kashmir. UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon appointed him as the chief military observer and head of the mission for the United States Military Observer Group in India and Pakistan. Major General Lodin succeeds Major General Delali Johnson Saki of Ghana, who completes his 2-year assignment on the 2nd of July. India says Unmugib has outlived its utility and is irrelevant after the Shimla Agreement. Time for us to take a short break. On the other side, I will talk about all the international news. President Obama says he is worried about the future of the Republican Party. We'll tell you why on the other side.
Gyan Chopper is the ancient version of Indian snakes and ladders. This intriguing game was popular among the old, the young, and the rulers as well. The chopper has its origin in the Jain philosophy. It tells the story of virtue, symbolized by the ladders, rewarded, while the vices shown by the snakes are punished. Each square, in turn, also narrates some message of wisdom.
Welcome to this episode of Eureka. We are with us Dr. Ajit Kembavi.
The IAU provides a truly wonderful platform in which various matters concerning the systematic development of astronomy are concerned. The fact that I am a vice president gives me the opportunity to push more and more Indian astronomers into it. And because we have to get into positions where we can influence very long-term policy.
Watch Eureka with Professor Ajit K. Kembhavi, Vice President, International Astronomical Union, only on Rajya Sabha TV.
Welcome back. You're watching the news tonight. Now, continuing with our special series on drought in the country, Jhunjhunu district in Rajasthan is famous for its heritage sites and old mansions that are also a huge tourist attraction. However, these days, the district is more known for its acute water crisis. With the dense population, a large portion of the district has fallen into the dark zone. Here's our special report from Jhunjhunu.
This is Gothra village in Jhunjhunu district. In the 51 wards of the village live over 17,000 people, and most of them depend on agriculture and livestock breeding for their livelihoods. So not surprisingly, there are about 7,500 animals in the village, and this is turning out to be the biggest problem this drought season. When humans are thirsting for every drop, what will the animals do?
पानी पीने लायक नहीं है, पानी खारा है, कुल मिला के पशु तो बेचारा काम चला लेते हैं, लेकिन आदमी की हालत जो है वो पानी की वजह से बेकार है.
The responsibility of gathering water lies with the women of the village. With no water sources, most households now depend on expensive water tankers. Each tanker costs 400 rupees but delivers saline water which is not fit for drinking.
10-10 मिनट पानी आओ साहब 10 मिनट में क्या है अब काम चल रहा है तो मैं तो टंग गिरा हूं.
Gothra is one of the biggest villages in the panchayat. Despite having a reputation, the village is having trouble getting the attention of the district administration.
पीने के लिए तो पानी है ही नहीं. जो एक आरओ प्लांट लगा हुआ है वो भी काफ़ी 4 महीने से काफ़ी बंद पड़ा है. बिल्कुल उसको अधिकारियों को अवगत करवा दिया उस बारे में और कोई भी सुनवाई नहीं हो पा रही है.
Almost the entire Jhunjhunu district is under the dark zone. Owing to the availability of only saline water, people are now falling sick. At least 252 villages have fallen prey to fluoride, and the situation is only becoming worse with each passing day. From Gothra village in Jhunjhunu district in Rajasthan, this is Arvind Kumar Singh's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Some international news now, and Israel has suspended entry permits for 83,000 Palestinians after the 2 gunmen of Wednesday's market attack were being identified as being from West Bank. Israel has described the attack as a savage crime of murder and terrorism.
A knee-jerk reaction from Israel a day after the horrific shooting at an upscale market in Tel Aviv, in which 4 people were killed and 16 others were wounded. Israel has revoked all permits for Palestinians from the West Bank or Gaza to enter Israel or travel abroad. The move, which affects 83,000 people, means Palestinians will not be able to travel to worship at the Al-Aqsa Mosque during Ramadan. The West Bank-based Palestinian Authority has not yet commented on the incident.
This is a savage crime of murder and terrorism in the heart of Tel Aviv. It's done by criminal terrorists who don't value human life. We're going to take the necessary steps to attack the attackers and to defend those who need to be defended.
Meanwhile, Israel's military is deploying 2 additional battalions involving hundreds of troops in the West Bank. In Tel Aviv, extra police units have been dispatched mainly around the city's bus and train stations. Hamas praised the attack in a statement, although they did not claim responsibility for it.
Unfortunately, every time we think that we're getting to some ceasefire and peace and quiet and opening our borders towards the Palestinians, it seems like they never learn. They don't care if they're hurting us or hurting their own people.
Wednesday's night incident, which is the deadliest in a wave of attacks since October, was condemned by both the US and Britain. In a statement, Hamas warned the Zionists would have more surprises during the Islamic holy month of Ramadan, which started this week. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Now, appearing on Jimmy Fallon's The Tonight Show, US President Barack Obama had a quick answer about when asked about his thoughts on the Republican presidential nominee. Obama said he was worried about the future of the Republican Party in light of the rise of presumptive GOP presidential nominee Donald Trump. Obama said the public should want a Republican nominee to be somebody who could do the job if they win, implying he does not think that Trump could. Obama, however, praised his fellow Democrats for a healthy presidential primary process. Obama has been increasingly critical of Trump as the primary season ticks on, though he seldom mentions the presumptive Republican nominee by name. The show was taped in New York one day after Hillary Clinton's big primary election wins in California and elsewhere catapulted her to victory over her Democratic opponent, Bernie Sanders.
Too easy, but the truth is actually...
First of all, you've given him some pretty good advice so far, if you have.
Yeah.
But has he called and talked to you? I would call you if I was right.
No, he hasn't. No.
No.
Not that I know. No.
What do you think the Republicans are happy with their choice?
We are, but I don't know how they're feeling. So, actually, you know what? That was too easy, but
sorry.
The truth is, actually, I am worried about the Republican Party, and I know that sounds, you know what it sounds like, but democracy works. This country works when you have two parties that are serious and trying to solve problems, and they got philosophical differences, and they have fierce debates, and they argue, and they contest elections, but at the end of the day, what you want is a healthy two-party system.
Japan has expressed its concern over a Chinese naval ship sailing close to its territorial waters in the East China Sea, increasing tensions over the disputed area. The Japanese government said that China had sent a warship for the first time into the disputed waters near a group of islands known as Senkaku in Japan and Diaoyu in China. Japan has summoned the Chinese ambassador over the incident. China, meanwhile, said it was looking into reports of the incident, adding that its navy had every right to operate in Chinese waters. 3 Russian battleships also entered close to the Japanese water, but Japan said that they did not violate any rules. Japanese and Chinese Coast Guard vessels frequently face off around the islands as both sides press their claims to the territory.
海軍艦艇我が国尖閣諸島の接続海域に初めて入域させたことは緊張を一方的に高める行為で我が国としては深刻に懸念をいたしております。
Some more international news now in Global Buzz. 22 people were killed and over 70 injured in 2 separate bomb blasts in Baghdad. One of the attacks took place in a commercial street where a car packed with explosives blew up, killing at least 15 people. Another suicide car bomb targeted the main army checkpoint in Taji, just north of Baghdad, killing 7 soldiers. The attacks come as Iraqi forces are trying to dislodge Islamic State militants from Fallujah. After halting their operations on the outskirts of Fallujah last week, the Iraqi forces began making progress towards the city, which is an Islamic State stronghold. On Wednesday, the security forces bombarded multiple targets of the militant group as they advanced into the inner city area. Meanwhile, the UN has launched a massive aid operation for thousands of trapped civilians. Somali Islamist militant group Al-Shabaab killed 43 Ethiopian soldiers in an attack on a base of African Union's AMISOM force. The group said its members were also killed in the raid, which saw a heavy exchange of gunfire. AMISOM forces said that they successfully repelled the attack and were still in charge of the base. Chad has sent 2,000 soldiers to Niger to fight against Boko Haram. The move came after Niger president met with his Chadian counterpart to call for an urgent support in the fight against the group, which has heavily inflicted losses and displaced tens of thousands of people in the country. Names of 4 new chemical elements have been proposed to be added in the periodic table. The new names will undergo a 5-month public review, after which it will be confirmed by the IUPAC and permanently added to the periodic table. All the action from the world of sports now in Sports Beat. Ace Indian shuttlers Saina Nehwal and Kidambi Srikanth have advanced to the quarterfinals of the Australian Open. 7th-seed Saina edged past Malaysian Jin Wei Go 21-12, 21-14, while Srikanth defeated Indonesian Sonny Kunkoro 21-19, 21-12. World Championship medalist Anju Bobby George has accused the Kerala Sports Minister of harassing and insulting her. She met the Kerala Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan and lodged a complaint against the Minister E.P. Jayarajan. Anju, who is the president of the Kerala Sports Council, alleged that the minister told her and fellow athletes that they are corrupt. Indian tennis star Rohan Bopanna has reached the quarterfinals of the men's doubles of the Rico Open with new partner Nicolas Mahut in Netherlands. The top-seeded Indo-French pair defeated their unseeded rivals Robin Haas and Guillermo Garcia Lopez 6-1, 6-4 in the opening round. Butterflies were released in honor of boxer Muhammad Ali in his hometown of Louisville, Kentucky on Wednesday. The release was a symbolic gesture to honor Ali, who famously boasted he could float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. He died last week on Friday at the age of 74 and will be laid to rest at Louisville's historic Cavell Cemetery tomorrow. Brazil defeated Haiti 7-1 at the Orlando Citrus Bowl in Copa America on Thursday. Felipe Coutinho, Renato Augusto, Gabriel Barbosa and Lucas Lima were the goal scorers for Brazil. Coutinho scored his first international hat-trick. James Marcelin scored a consolation goal for Haiti in the 70th minute. Well, that's the news tonight. Good night.